All right, fancy people. Hopefully the audio comes out on this correctly. This is going to be for, I think it's D388. Whatever it is, it has to do with spreadsheets. I'll put it in the title. So this one video, I realized while I was trying to put together what I wanted to share with you guys that while what I find to be simple about this class, others here might find difficult. So I'm going to be trying better to be a little more clear about my reviews and walkthroughs and things like that. So without further ado, this is going to contain mostly everything from section 1, lessons 1 through 5. Down here you'll see I have another section for lesson 5. We'll get to that in a second. Everything else we can just kind of do up here. So basically what this class is trying to help you understand is how to use Excel sheets and the various functions that go with it. So the first question is going to be talking about all of the things that you need to learn how to do when it comes to the style, the font, the alignment, the number, those kind of things. And so you'll get something that looks similar to this with a question that says bold and center the labels. You see I have a little cheat sheet over here of everything that I find important. So one of the things that we need to do is bold and center the labels. For those of you who don't know, if you select one box, you can just drag the mouse over, and it will highlight those boxes. I like to use Control B. I believe on Apple computers it's Command B for bold, but you will also find a bolding icon right here. You click that and we have bolded the headlines or labels. Next, we need to resize the boxes. You can do this a couple of different ways. When you get to the test, they're going to want a specific number, and there's a way to do that up here somewhere. I have no idea how to do that. I just left click the column that I want to resize and then type in the number that they give you. And sometimes they'll say resize it to column width of 12. Wow, that worked perfectly. And so now we've resized that. The other way that you can do it is by hovering between these two lines until you get that icon and just drag it over a little bit until you see you get the right size that you need. Dun, 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 dun. Next up that I want to talk about is going to be borders. There's a couple of different ways that you can get to this as well. The ones that I want to be highlighting is going to be this little area here. The way that I do it is I just left click the area, and then if you go down to format cells, right here, border, they'll give you all the options. I have learned an easier way to do that is to just go up to here on font, hit the drop down arrow, and it gives you all of those too. So for this one, we're going to put in all borders, and we want a thick border right underneath our headline, our labels. So we're going to select those, and we're going to put a thick line on the bottom. And we'll put it all the way around, actually. That kind of looks nicer. That was the same one. Anyway, so you get the point. That is how you create a border. Next up, they'll ask you something like do with the colors, the format, and the wording. So we're going to take our little title of our sheet right here, and we're going to change the font. And you'll find the font up here. You could, if you knew what you wanted, like Times New Roman, you could type it in. Or if they give you a specific one, that's how you'll be able to find it pretty easily. Or you can just look through here and find one that looks cool. I think we're going to go Forte, just because that looks fancy. And then we're going to adjust the size, which is going to be in this button right here, and I'm going to adjust it to 24. And then we're going to fill it. So we're going to do it purple. No, we'll do blue. Blue's a pretty color. Now you'll notice this is only filling up to C. We want this whole thing to be filled, so we're going to click in A, and we're going to fill that color. Okay, so I don't know what I'm doing. Oh yeah, I do. Never mind. We're just going to fill this whole thing because I don't want to mess with that. Then we're going to change the words. This is already a default suggested letter color, but we're going to go in and we're going to change it to white. And drag this out here. Okay, that did not work. There we go. All right, so that is up to the word color. Something else that they might ask you to do is to warp the text. So say column C is like this small, but they don't want you to mess with anything. They don't want you to adjust it. Warping the text, this button right here, will warp the text so that you can have the whole thing in the same one. But we're going to extend it over because my toothbrush got warped. There we go. Ta-da! Lots of prettiness. And then you'll see that affects all of the other columns as well. All right, after that, filtering data and sorting the data, those are two keywords that will pop up a lot in the test, and that's something that I actually get confused by a lot when I was taking the quizzes that were inside the lesson, is making sure that you know if they want you to filter the data or sort the data, because those are two different buttons. And you'll find that in the data little file folder over here. We've got sort and filter. Sort, okay, you're gonna have to click on the thing that you want to sort, and then it will pop up with this little window. So say we want to sort this data by category, and we want to do that in descending order, so Z to A. And that will automatically categorize or organize our category based on the category sort that we've given it. If we want to filter this, what we'll do is we'll just click anywhere here that we need to in our box, click the filter thing, and it already gives us options to filter these already. We want to filter these, we'll filter it by category, and say we only want to look at the accessories and the garden stuff because our bathroom stuff isn't selling too well. And now we just have our garden accessories. If we want to filter by price, lowest, no wait, that's not true. If we want to sort by the price, then we would go in here. Oh my goodness. We're going to sort by, wait, we have to go back. Cancel. Oh, it's gone. Okay, so we're going to sort by price, smallest to largest. And I have to click that cell again as well because actually, yeah, you got to do it at the same, or one step at a time. So we've sorted our column how we want it to be sorted, add a level. So after we've sorted it by category, then we want to sort by price, and we want to sort it smallest to largest. Bada bing, bada boom. Next that they're going to ask for is, well, they'll explain a lot about the worksheet versus the workbook. This whole thing is a workbook. These little pages underneath are the worksheets. So currently we only have one worksheet, and that is the practice. If we want to add a worksheet, you just click this little plus button here. If we want to edit that, you just left click it, rename, and we're going to call it renaming the sheet. I am impressed that I spelled that correctly. That's amazing. Now, another thing that they want you to be able to learn how to do is to autofill data, use basic functions, and use basic formulas. And those are fairly easy. I don't know which one to go over first, but we'll do formulas. So a formula is all of these things. Wait, formula be over here. These are the formulas. So when they're asking for the average price, what we're going to do is we're just going to hit the tab button. We want to know the average, and we're going to select the boxes that we want to know the average of. We already have one parenthesis on this side. We just need to include another one. Hit enter, and automatically Excel tells us what the average price is there. If we want to know the maximum price, it'd be the same thing. You hit the equal sign, begin typing in the function that you, or the form, yeah, it is a function. Whatever it is that you want to use. Select the boxes that you want to figure out the max price, and it'll give us our max price. Same with the minimum. Well, minimum, we're going to do this one, and do the same thing. And there's our minimum price, the pumpkin seeds for $2. Cheap. Now, if we want to find the discount price, what we would do is for this formula or function or whatever it's called, hit the equal sign. And then we want to know what the discount price is of the pumpkin seeds, the rake, the shovel, and umbrella. So we're going to click on this cell. And we're going to times that by, if it was going to be 10%, you could just do the 1, I think it's minus 0.1 or 0.1. But what we're going to do instead is we're going to hit the minus button, and we're going to click on this cell. close the parenthesis, but then we want to make sure that this cell stays the same cell, because if you didn't and you just typed it like that, then all of a sudden it would drop down and try to reference this cell and try to reference this cell and try to reference this cell in the prices. So to make this an absolute value, add a little dollar sign, and we've got our discount price, and we can drag this down to copy this formula into all the other cells, and all of a sudden we have the discount price in all the others. Now, if we wanted to see this as an actual price, there's two ways that we could do it. If we go back to our home button, little number tab right here, we're going to select all the boxes that we want to be seen, and in this one, we want it to be in currency. I'm doing something wrong with this one, because every time that I did it in the test, it said, oh, you did this wrong. You're supposed to put it in currency with 2 decimal points. As you can see, this is a currency with 2 decimal points. So I don't know if that's just my computer. I'm using the Excel version that you have to download, not the online version, because I don't know why you would use the online version unless you didn't have the ability to download the actual Excel. Downloading the actual Excel, I think, actually is a lot easier to work with than the online version. And I've heard that like some people have problems with it, so we'll just leave it at that. Now for the discount price, we can do the same thing. Currency. And let's say we want to center all of these numbers. We'll come up here to alignment and center them. That's not what I want to do. There we go. Oh, yeah, it is too. And you can see it changes over here as well. Because we've referenced this box for 10%, if our shovel all of a sudden the price has changed to $15, automatically that price is going to change as well, and it changes the average as well. If, say, you had a Gucci purse and it was like a $200 purse, I don't know what they are, and that's going to change as well. So if you weren't to reference this 10%, then, or to like make it stabilize anything, then that would change. It would try to reference any number in here. It would try to do who knows what. The functions pretty much all work the same. You always hit that equal sign that tells Excel that you're about to do something. If you didn't want to reference any of the cells and you just wanted to say what's 1 plus 1 equal, it will automatically populate with that. So we can get rid of that one. So that covers absolute value, fill patterns, and zoom. Oh, this is one thing that I did not figure out, that I had to figure out. The zoom. Sometimes they'll give you a, let's see, something that looks like this, and you're like, where you have to like scroll around and find the information. You just hit the search button and then put it at whatever zoom that you want it to be in. I miss the days I was homeschooled, and so growing up, if we had a test, if we got something wrong, and our mom would come to us and say, if you can figure this out and figure out why it's wrong, then I'll let you pass. And I really, really wish that applied to actual like tests, because if I know that the answer is wrong, I can figure out pretty quickly why the function that I chose was not the correct function. Fortunately, it does not work. So that's zoom. We're going to talk about fill patterns. Fill patterns is another function that Excel will do that is pretty neat. Let's say we have like a catalog of numbers right here. We wanted to count by 1. All we do is put in 1, 2, and then what we do is we would kind of act like we were going to select a box. We're going to select both of these boxes and then drag it down, and Excel will automatically populate. Oh, that's wrong. That needs to be a 2. Excel will automatically populate what those are, counting by ones. Oh my goodness. Why is that not working? 2, 3. Interesting. Okay, well, if we do by 4, it's 4, 8. Okay. 4, and then 8. Okay, well, I'm obviously doing something wrong because this is working earlier. It does the same thing with this. We had 1 lead and 2 lead, and we filled it in with like Tom, I don't know, another Tom Smith, and he had like the same phone number. We had like another lead, or we had 2 more leads that we needed to fill. We would do pretty much the same thing, just grab those down, and then we could fill it up. Oh my goodness, why is this not working? You guys, I literally took a test and got it correct. Read 2. 2. I know that if you did this, it would copy it over. I wonder. You got 1, 2. Okay, so this is a terrible example of what that's supposed to be, but it works. I don't know why it's not working for me right now. Maybe I'm clicking the wrong button. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're all 1s. Okay, well, if somebody can figure out why that isn't working, let me know in the comments. Another thing that is, I think, just goes to say, like, if you get the right answer, but you don't get it the way that they want, it's a lot like Corp and Core math. Like, if you don't get it the way you want, they're going to count as a fail. So far, I've gotten 98.80-something% on 2 of my tests because the way that I got the answer was not the way they wanted. Part of that reason was because I had a function a lot like this, and to populate it, I used this formula, and they said it was wrong. So then I used this formula, and they said it was wrong, and then I was like, you know what, it doesn't matter. So, yeah. Man, I just messed that up too. There we go. That's not working. Okay, just writing it down. Anyway, so that pretty much covers all of lesson 1. Something else that could be useful is using MyEducator. We go back home. It's kind of not necessarily a hassle to download, it just takes time. And in order to take the test, what you would do is you go up here to MyEducator, and then once it loads, you just scroll down. Come on. And then you'll enter in the key. It'll look something like this, maybe. It'll look something like all of these. They're randomly generated, so they, I think they expire after about 30 minutes or an hour, depending on what they are. You'll hit start, and then it will automatically populate this kind of information with cells that they want you to fill in. So that is pretty much what lesson 1 is trying to cover in this test. If you have any experience with Excel, really, or even Google Sheets, it's pretty easy to figure out. It's just a little time consuming because there's so many other things, and it's just finding different ways to do it easier. At least I like to find different things to make it easier because I don't like going through the whole background of, like borders. It's just easier to select and then, at least for me, format cells, and then there's the borders. Or like doing the column width this way instead of what other way they wanted to do it there. I hope that somebody finds this helpful because I still don't understand what happened there. Good luck with this class. Let me know how it goes.